after all of that, and you're dealing with the butt heads, and you're still trying to be a nice person, you're working these cool community events, and this is the best job in the world. Like, it is so fun.
If you come across a boulder, it's almost impossible to get it started. If you get it started and it starts rolling, it's impossible to stop it. That's where I want to be. I want to be running alongside someone who's saying, I've got the boulder, it's rolling, help me steer it.
So here we are on the Weird Music Podcast. We've got Mr. Devin Sutton. So for everyone out there listening, Devin, I've known him for years. He is a big supporter of this podcast. So I don't know if we have a clap track, but like clap track real quick, like, woo! Devin, love you, man. Art-Illery Productions. Devin works with festivals. He helps set them up. He's got his hand in different pots. He works in the cannabis industry. He's putting on events and he helps set them up, booking, marketing. So Devin, this episode, it's like getting involved in the music industry and examples of like how that's been done, how people have just through hard work basically and making it happen, got involved. So from the production aspect and really everything you're doing, like take me back and tell me the story of you really looking at your life and getting fully involved in the music business.
The very first time I ever got the opportunity to work with anyone in the music industry was with a band called the High Definitions. These guys are a great local band from Columbus, Ohio, trio band, blues rock, awesome stuff. They just asked me, hey man, you're from the East Coast, originally from Jersey. You have a hotel discount from bartending and working at a hotel. Can you help us book a tour because you're personable and you work hard? I was like, yeah, sure. And you just got to say, yeah, when you just want to try it out with anything, of course. You're going to be nervous and it's going to be making you anxious because you're going to be doing something you've never done before, but you really do just have to throw yourself into it. And that's exactly how it went. And we did like a 4-state, 7-show tour. After that happened, I actually was blessed to meet a lovely fellow named Chris Avato, and he actually gave me the blessing of working residence. And that was my first music festival ever in 2019 of working. He's like, yeah, you know what? Sure. We'll put you in a paid stagehand. I go, I have no idea what the fuck a cable ramp is. I don't even know how to over-under chords. I don't know what a strobe between a beam or R1 or what a sub to a speaker. Like, I really don't know dick about the industry at this point. And the cool opportunity is that if you do work hard and you're attentive and you want to learn, the generational gap right now with the industry is so large. And these people that are teachers and that are actually above us and pretty much our leads and our techs, like they're willing to teach you. And if you're a pleasant, young, hardworking person, female or male, you can crush it in this industry and like actually learn a lot. And that's how it happened. It just started snowballing.
Tell me about what it is about music that makes you want to be so devoted to it.
Oh, that's a great question. It's cool to be part of a community kind of thing, and bringing people together, and that's how cool like teaching is. Like I enjoy coaching and teaching because that's bringing the community together. And like I coach wrestling and lacrosse too. I've been coaching lacrosse for 10 years, and the cool thing with coaching is that I got to play professional lacrosse, semi-pro with like some of the best professionals in Ohio, and I got to pass that on with kids and give that to them and teach them. It's not about like teaching or anything per se, but it's the fact that we get to be part of making an event. I've been doing it for 10 years, so it's cool now to like do another community kind of thing and be passionate about it and be creative about it. And it's pretty crazy because I coach in Bexley and everyone in Bexley loves the music industry too and love concerts. And it correlates to now I'm the production manager for Bexley Brewfest and Bexley Porch Fest, where we're going to have 10 stages or 10 porches, June 4th of Bexley Porch Fest and Bexley Brew Fest. We got a killer lineup that you'll hear soon in April. and it's just cool. It's, to just be like able to contribute that, being around people that want to achieve the same thing, aka make the event work, is just great. Like everyone has the same goal and everyone's coming together to make that happen. So it's cool to be part of something like that. You know what I mean?
If you could give any advice for people early on in their journey, whether they're an up and coming band or just someone who wants to get involved in the music industry, like what would you say?
I definitely think there's so much you can do, but the three main things I would say to like just focus on the whole time: pump the gas always. Make sure you are putting your effort into it. Like you want to make this work. It's your product. It's actually your dream. It's what you're envisioning. So like make it happen. Like do what you want to do, and if you want to do it and actually want to do it, make sure you put effort into it. Number two, make sure you're just a very, very pleasurable person and nice person to work with, because in this industry, it's a norm to like be rude and strong arm each other. And sometimes people get out of line, and try and realize that, like, yo, like, we're going to be working with some rude people. Exactly. Have some Buddha in your life. And then the third, man, just realize that, like, even though it's hard work and like it's grueling hours sometimes, after all of that, and you're dealing with the butt heads and you're still trying to be a nice person, you're working these cool community events, and this is the best job in the world. Like it is so fun. It's how you look at it, like how you look at anything, silver lining, like, and you get to hang out with the coolest artists, be around the coolest people. And like you said, I work in the weed industry as well, so it kind of complements each other, like weed and music. So as I'm going to all these cool festivals, you're around very, very, very inspiring, very, very out of the norm people. You know what I mean? And that's always interesting. Like you will meet some interesting people working in this industry, and you
How,
got to be interesting.
how can people get involved?
So right now it's a great time because obviously like COVID and everything happened like that. And with Art-Illery Production, for example, as other companies and plenty other places, and just Columbus, there are places that you can just go and apply and get hired just to be a stagehand, and there's not much experience needed or none. Art-Illery Production, we freelance ourselves like Bexley Brew Fest and Bexley Porch Fest and other festivals. Pangea Productions, another great example that are hiring people that if you just type in Pangea and throw your experience in, you could probably get a call. When you go to these jobs, it's nothing strenuous, and it's intimidating because like sometimes you'll even like show up to a big arena and it'll be your second or third gig ever in your life, and it's like Justin Timberlake. It's a whole arena build, aka you got like $500,000 worth of equipment and 5 or 6 semis in the back of the arena, and it takes like 100 people to build that, and just one day. And it's crazy, but it's a community thing right now at this point in Columbus. Just look up pretty much not only Pangea Productions or Art-Illery Productions, but also Show Pros, the Union as well, IATSE 12. And those are all great places that are looking for hands. So from this, if you're watching this podcast, drop my line. I'll link you up with a job.
I want you to tell me about what you think the most important qualities are for a stagehand.
You got to be a sponge. That's definitely most necessary, because there's going to be a lot. Every build is different. You're literally receiving something, getting directions from a stranger who might be a jerk. You don't know. Let's hope he's not, but half the time they are. And you got something new in your hands, like a new light or a new speaker or a new wire that you've never touched before. And then you're doing that also like at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. You got to realize that even though it's a cool job, it's grueling, like I said, and that's the biggest quality. Is make sure you're a sponge, because you're going to be working at hard times with technical stuff. You know
So
what I
the
mean?
moral of that story is show love to your stagehands here, because they're putting in those hours to make these festivals happen. Let's talk about Art-Illery Productions, dude. Tell me the story.
Oh man, this was a whim. So when the protests occurred with Black Lives Matter, I helped with a couple art installations. For one example, we released 600 beach balls at the State House in the courtyard, and each beach ball was a person of color who passed away before the age of 24. And we inflated them, threw them out there. So I ended up getting this bazooka that we were going to do an art installation, painted it with a bunch of local artists and whatnot. And then we realized, no, that's actually really aggressive. Let's not do that and install it at the fucking State House. So we had an art show. And we did this at a cool little restaurant downtown. I approached them with the concept. Again, something I've never done is throw my own event. And this was in November 2021. We did an art gallery and we called it Art-Illery Gallery. It was at Daly Michi's restaurant in the side of it. And I told him my concept. He's like, yeah, you know what? I love that idea. We'll do it for free. We can have the space for free. I was like, sweet. I had 3 DJs play. It was open face brick, super beautiful, great place to have an art show. Instead, I had 4 local artists, Gabby Peters, Vince Krivda, Jorge Vallis, and Dave Bandoli, the Dave Bandoli. And they all had their local pieces, their own pieces, and their own like installations, their own sections. But also, they live painted the bazooka. And the point of the art gallery show was to show that we could have guerrilla warfare and not be so aggressive about it, be peaceful and coincide. And we also donated percentage of art sales to Art College Preparatory Academy Columbus, something like that. But it was to the undergrad kids in high school program. So these kids will go to this program after high school, and we donated money for their supplies. But it was an awesome time, and we raised a bunch of money. I had no idea what I was doing, straight up. But all the artists and DJs, again, they liked the community. They wanted to bring it together. They wanted to try it. It was a great idea, and we all helped each other achieve it. And it was an awesome charity event, and that is how Art-Illery Productions occurred. It just came from Art-Illery Gallery, and now Art-Illery Productions, the main mission statement behind us is to support all local artists and blow them up. A live painter or a musician, a rapper, comedian, DJ, acoustic artist, band, dancer. We just want to work with you. And if you ever contact us and you want to, like right now, we just got contacted to help build a drag queen. And when I say we, my business partner, Brooklyn Steinbeck, who actually is one of the main organizers, and she helps with Art-Illery Production completely. Big shout out to Brooklyn for always helping this stuff make it work too. And that being said, we're building a drag queen show for Pride Week now. So we literally just like to work with any artist possible.
Devin, man, thank you for supporting the podcast. It is so grueling building stages, and you live to tell the tale.
Oh, the tales and the stories you'll have as a stagehand are gnarly.
You want to rip one out real quick?
I'll just say from residence, and this is like, this is how funny and ridiculous it gets sometimes. My first like night or my second night at this festival, still have no idea what I'm doing. It's the third like, EDM stage. I think it was like the Dragon Castle or something, where they had all the EDM artists off yonder. We had to actually like hike to get there, kind of. When it was in Slippery Rock, be another stage hitter out there, and we have Hennessy sound system coming in to support the audio for the stage, which is a great sound rig, by the way. Shout out to Hennessy. And the audio engineer's there, and it's front of a house. It's supposed to be, 20 to 40 yards from the stage, facing the stage, depending on how large it is. So that 40 yards, we had no cable ramps, which is the ramp thing that you'll see at shows that you step on, that you put all the important cables on to power everything. That being said, we had to dig a trench into a nice, hard bedrock, practically, of dirt and whatnot, in the dark, rain, but we had no shovels. So we got hammers, and we're using the back of the hammers that you pry nails out of the fucking wall, but we're prying the gravel out of the fucking dirt, and we're just looking at each other, having the worst time of our lives. Finally, after we finish, the Hennessy guy comes over, sits down with us. We're like, damn, I didn't think you guys were actually gonna fucking do that. But here's a beer.
Show love to the stage hands.
They're
Amen.
always working hard, busting their ass, digging dirt with backs of hammers.
Devin, tell people where they can follow all your good shit and what they can expect, how they can get in touch with you, and yeah, everyone out there listening, much love.
Yeah, so even though, like I said, Art-Illery Production is only pretty much a year old, we do have Instagram. So we got that Instagram. Check it out. We also are making a Facebook here soon. But again, I'm Devin Sutton, and Brooklyn Steinbeck is also the other owner and business partner of Art-Illery Production. And you can contact her on her Facebook or Instagram, or my Instagram or Facebook, or Art-Illery Production Instagram. Strange Source is also my weed company as well. We do data collection and consulting for growers aside from that. And we are going to be doing a lot of events coming up in Columbus, Ohio. Like I said, we are the main production for Bexley Porch Fest and Bexley Brew Fest. So when you see those lineups out there, look for the little bomb at the bottom right corner.
Thank you for coming on here. Thank you for all that you
Of
do, all
course.
the support. Show your stage hands some love, especially this one. Man, Art-Illery Productions, everybody.
Weird music.
Amen. So here we are on the Weird Music Podcast. We've got Phil Simon on the podcast, and he's founded livemusicnewsandreviews.com. But he's also got his own artists. So this episode, it's going to basically be about getting your foot in the door in the music industry, and just kind of anecdotal stories about how that's been done, both from through Phil's perspective, through the media world. You know, he runs a blog, but he's also a booking agent. And then later on in this episode, we're going to have Devin on, who's done something pretty similar, but through the production side. So Phil here, let's start this off, man. I think the best place would be, can you tell us a story about how you started Live Music News and Reviews?
Sure. More so than the blog, it all began for me as a booking agent, and wanting to have my professional life be adjacent to my personal interests, which was live music and consuming live music. So I've been a booking agent for just over 30 years, since I was in college, on both the West Coast and the East Coast, working for other people and working for myself. And as it relates to livemusicnewsandreview.com, a buddy of mine was developing a technology company, and much like, say, Wix or something else, he was developing a website in a box. And I was standing in his kitchen, and I said, so I could have a live music website where we did like news and reviews and stuff like that, and I could use your program in order to create the website. And he said, absolutely. What would you call it? And I said, I don't know, livemusicnewsandreview.com. And he said, okay, great. And then we started talking some more. And 2 minutes later, he held up his phone and he said, well, I just purchased that website for you. And it's ready to go. We can design it tomorrow. And I was not able to sleep that night. Just my mind was going like, okay, I could do reviews, and I could put up press releases, and we could do band spotlights, and I could spotlight a venue, and I could even have bands review their own show, you know. And I literally was not able to sleep that night. And I posted the first review the next day. We got a couple hundred views, and then I hooked up eventually Facebook and Twitter, and then I started recruiting other writers, and eventually the concept of what it actually is right now developed, which is an ability for all of us to amplify the promotional messages that we have about certain shows or certain artists, to amplify that out to a greater audience, and for the website itself to be a scrapbook a way to amplify your experience that you had at a particular show to a bunch of other people and share the experience that you had so that other people might decide whether or not they want to have that experience too.
I love that. So when was this?
It's about 12 or 13 years ago. When I first started it, there's a little bit of excitement and everybody got into it and whatever. But then the real work begins, developing, dozens of writers who want to contribute, upgrading the platform a few different times. And so I went from my buddy's, website in a box up to WordPress. And I started to integrate live video, and I started to integrate audio recording. And so instead of your souvenir being a poster or a ticket stub, which is a very finite two-dimensional concept, we can now have your souvenir pop out of your computer or your phone. Look, there's pictures from that night. There's a full description of what happened. There's a set list. I could listen to the show.
So 12 years of running a media outlet, like, what have been the most important lessons for you to learn to be able to do a good job with it?
Well, one of the things is when I'm talking to an artist, they don't want me to say, how did you come up with your band name? Or, who were your influences? How do we get past surface information? We don't need to know who your favorite songwriter was. We can tell that by listening to it. So how do we get all the way to the point of finding out the real information and communicate that in such a way that it recruits people into being interested in an artist? I think that the best writing includes your subjectivity, but also includes the fact that that your reader might not have the experience that you have. How you do that and how you translate the emotion that you have about seeing a show to someone else who didn't have that experience already, that's the real challenge of being a critic.
Let's say we're talking through the perspective of you giving advice to a band and how to manage themselves as a brand.
One of the things that I tell people from a live music perspective is understand what it is that people like about you performance-wise, and then give them a lot of it. Now, don't be repetitive necessarily, but if what people like about you is your lyrics, showcase your lyrics. If what people like about you is the driving beat, then give them lots of songs with the driving beat. Don't give them 2 songs with the driving beat and 4 ballads. That's not what they like about you. What they like about you is the driving beat. So give them a lot of that. Make it easy for people to understand what it is that you're doing and deliver it in a clear fashion. Now, for some artists, what that might be is a lack of clarity, or it might be a meandering quality. If that's who you are and what people like about you is the ability to meander and these long voyages, then that's what your show is. And then the job of the agent and the band as a business entity is, how do you describe that? You talk to a lot of bands. When you say to them, what is your band? Who are you? And they go, well, it's kind of Black Sabbath meets the Go-Go's with a little bit of Gene Vincent in there. You're like, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. So to be able to deliver in one sentence who your band is, and to be able to communicate that in such a way that people are interested in it. If you're in a band and you're trying to go out and get gigs, one of your tasks is to, in 2 sentences, communicate who you are to someone else so that they may be interested in hiring. Understand that that's what you're doing.
Now, let me ask you, as a booking agent, when you're considering an up-and-coming band to potentially take on, what kind of things are you looking at when you're evaluating?
So that understanding that we just talked about, they know who they are, they know how to do what they want to do, and they do it in spades. Then do they have the things in place that are necessary? Quality website? Do they have an album or 2 recorded? Do they have quality videos? Do they have a quality photograph and imagery that incorporates who they are? Do they have a vehicle in order to get from show to show? But most importantly, more than anything else, have they already done the 1 to 6 years worth of work in order to get 100 people coming in a half a dozen places? If that work has already been established, then there's something for me to work with as a booking agent. If you come across a boulder, it's almost impossible to get it started. If you get it started and it starts rolling, it's impossible to stop it. That's where I want to be. I want to be running alongside someone who's saying, I've got the boulder, it's rolling, help me steer it. You're in the business of creating music and selling it. As a person who is selling music, you are selling concert tickets, you're selling albums, you're selling relationships, you're selling a lifestyle. You need to remember what it is that brought you joy about this. And even though this has become your job, that you still find the pleasure and the joy in doing it whenever you do it. You need to find the pleasure in the driving from show to show. You need to find the pleasure in interacting with fans. You need to find the pleasure in the broken guitar string in front of an audience. And that's even if you're playing in bars, and you're off playing these tiny little places, is going to that place and connecting with the 2 or 4 or 8 or 12 people that you're doing and playing your music for the night. Is that enough for you? Because if it isn't, then you're going to have a lot of trouble finding the joy in what it is that you're doing. And if you don't find the joy in it, you might as well be working in a factory. There's a reason your mother told you that this was a terrible business to be in, because it is. It's very, very difficult to make money in this business. So if you're not likely to make money, then you better be making joy.
When it comes to making money from selling music, what's the way?
If I knew that, I'd be a rich man. In a way, I think that all of us, with the exclusion of like Metallica and Mick Jagger and whatever, I think everybody is looking for the way that they could do better at what they're doing. I think the people who begin to really understand both the artistic side of what they're doing and the business side of what they're doing, whether they're doing that individually or they have a team that understands that. We could use words like synergy and monetize and merchandise and all this other stuff. But I think that ultimately, if people understand who they are, they're able to really understand how to deliver that to other people. That's really the first step. The rest, the marketplace will work out. I really only understand the blue collar aspect of it. Book a show, promote a show, write an article, put out a press release. In this day and age, when communication is straight through a screen from one person to another, a lot of bets are off. It used to be about getting radio play and getting into Spin Magazine and all this other stuff. Now there's an ability to reach directly to people straight from your house. Now, at the same time, the challenge is anybody actually can do it, so there's a million people doing it. And how do you stand out from those people? I don't really have any great answers for that, which I know is disappointing after a lifetime of doing it. But I'm just sort of more interested in connecting with people, promoting ideas that I like, surrounding myself by the sounds that I like, and helping to push those sounds to other people. And the rest just kind of sorted itself out.
Phil, man, great to connect with you here. This is it. We're wrapping up here.
Dang, it went so quick.
Maybe we'll have you back, man. You've definitely got this spark to you. Love learning from your experiences, man. So livemusicnewsandreviews.com. Why don't you tell everyone like where they can find you and what they can expect from you in the future?
Okay, so we have the website, which is livemusicnewsandreview.com, singular. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/livemusicnewsandreview. And we've got the Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that, but that's not really important. But what I want people to understand is they can read about their favorite music, but they can also participate and they can get involved. They can write about the things that they want and they can share with the world what their perspective on music is. Additionally speaking, I have a booking agency and publicity firm. We're called Simon Says Booking. We're at simonsaysbooking.com. I represent Max Creek, Start Making Sense, the Englishtown Project, the Insiders, the Big Takeover, Aaron Harp, Love Whip, Dave Keller, a gajillion bands. So I love working with venues. I love working with festivals, theaters, performing arts centers, events, private engagements. The best thing in the world, Cam, is live music. Let's make more of it.
That's Phil Simon, everybody.
No,
Champion.
Cam, it's weird music. Weird music.
Amen. You made it this far. Thank you for listening, and a big thank you to our sponsors, Hemp Relief CBD, SEM Tickets, Devil Wind Brewing, and Art-Illery Productions. We got links in the description below. Go check out all the awesome stuff they've got going on. And yeah, much love, everyone.